dark. How we doing out there tonight? Hope you're having a good evening. Tonight, actually, we will be enjoying something. My wife got mad that we have that package there at work that sends us all the different flavors. So she joined something called Shaker and Spoon, which is a box of stuff. And so tonight, she's made me, actually, it's called the Caloosahatchee. It is more of a springtime drink there, but it's got 2 ounces of Widow Jane in this case, because that's what we had. Half ounce of lemongrass ginger lemon syrup, which is in a little bottle there. 2 dashes of smoked orange bitters. 2 ounces of French sparkling refresher. That explains the color. Oh, man, that's springtime all day, man. That just tastes like orange soda, to be honest with you. Very good. And with the Widow Jane, a little bit of a extra kick to it. We're not affiliated with them in any way, but it's called Shaker and Spoon. I think it's a little pricey, to be honest, because it doesn't come with the spirits, if you will. But hey, that's pretty good. The Caloosahatchee, that's the recipe there. It's stirred with crushed up ice and stuff, and it just feels like floating down a river. Maybe it's not as cold or snowing as where you're at there, but hey, that's pretty good. I don't know if I have a rating for it. Maybe I could drink a lot of that, to be honest, because it tastes like soda. But I'd put that 86, 87 right in there. Very nice. Very nice. All right. This doesn't happen often, but what happens if you save too much for retirement? Is that a bad thing? We stumble across this every now and then. But for those of you that are in your 30s or 40s, this one's really for you, because I hope you've got your favorite drink and you're able to just sit back and relax for a little bit, because you can actually get into some trouble by saving too much. And before you go off, it's easy to save too much for whatever you want. People will say, well, I don't have the job or the money to make that kind. Yeah, but you choose what to spend your money on. If the cost of living is too high in your area, you move somewhere else. I did it. What cost of living where we were living, I was like, I don't even like these places, so we moved north. And I love the place that we're in. It was a fixer-upper, but, it was a nice place. And so you choose the money you want to spend on Christmas, right? Birthdays, things like that. So there are really 2 types of people. There's those that I can think of a few off the top of my head that, my God, they seem to save money. They do better than I do, and I eat this stuff up, right? And they just save. Somehow their savings rate is so freaking high. And then you have other people that, I hate to say it, but they kind of play like victim status, where they just can't seem to get ahead. I can't seem to get the extra dollar there. And more times than not, when people join us and they say, I'm going to get me an advisor, right? Here's my Roth IRA. It's all I got. Let's start growing it. Well, you know that we help you with all your other finances as well. And more times than not, I just find a lot of inefficiencies, right? I'm not going to pick on you for what you want to spend your money on, but I do see a lot of inefficiencies. And so you have those 2 types of people. Today, I'm talking about you go-getters out there. I don't want you to go get too much. And actually, where is it? I was reading this planning magazine here. See if I can find it real quick, not take too much of your time. I was talking about millennials. Sadly, I'm a millennial. You believe I don't identify as a millennial? They can do it. I could do it too. I think this is it. How to attract millennials, blah, 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 blah. Okay, check this out. A new study by, it's done by Cerulli. Roughly defined millennials as 1980 to 1994. Growing their net worth faster than any generation. Net worth of $278,000 average dollars. That's a 182% jump from 2016. So just in that short period of time, you get this big increase. And so the problem that they were saying was 49% of all student loan debt is owned by millennials, because they, a lot of them went to college and finished college, joined the workforce during the Great Depression there. And so that makes sense. But I wanted to point out that, how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel bad? If you're a millennial, made me feel bad for a second. Between 1980 and 1994, if you were born there, your net worth on average should be around $278,000, according to Cerulli. So are you above that? Are you below that? I don't know. Can't answer that question for you. But let's get into some examples here. I just thought that was fascinating. The first thing you want to do, we've talked about this before, and I'll go over here and just show this. You could use our retirement planner. All of our clients, we send down this path of giving us a rough draft of what do you expect. We used to do this the hard way, and we would just do a lot of back and forth and emails and stuff. I say, you know what, we need to build our own thing. So this is actually ours. It's available. It functions. It all works, tells you exactly what you need to do, but from a 10,000 foot view. You know what I mean? This only gets you so far. We can't factor in different goals you may have along the way. We're strictly saying retirement, giving you your account balance and performance along the way, telling you that you may need to save, instead of 6,000, you need to save 6,420. Or instead of putting 5% in your 401k, it's got to go to 5.4 in order to make this successful. And so most people go down that route, and that's fine. But you may look at that and you say, I'm just better at saving more money. Remember, we went through this weird couple years where money was abundant. It was everywhere. And so people would commonly, it was like my number one question last year, what do I do with this extra money? I don't need it right now. In my whole advisor career, and then prior to that, working with the Chinese, that was the last time I heard someone ask me, I have more money than I need, what do I do with it? The Chinese for a while were really, they're still very, very good with their money. But I wasn't used to hearing that from Americans. And so I want to just show you some of the pitfalls here. Enough rambling, Dustin. Just get to it already. We're going to go over and we're going to look at the more detailed way that we do planning with clients using Nest Egg. And there you go. It's all working there. And this is an example from an actual client. If you're using a planning software or any kind of Monte Carlo simulation and you get 100%, something's wrong. Don't look at that and run away and say, I won the game. No, something's wrong. All right. So anytime I see somebody with 100% success rate, it means one of two things. One, their expenses in retirement are so low that by the time they hit their required minimum distribution age, they have to take out more than they have to spend. So that means their expenses are met just by the RMD. And so when we look at their end net cash flow result, how much money do they have at the end of the year? It's positive. Well, if it's positive, that means you don't have to withdraw from your retirement accounts. That's when you would see 100%, usually 100% success rate. The other thing would be that you save so much money that even after taking your RMDs and even before that, you have so much money in your retirement accounts that you never will run out of money. Why would you do that? Think about it. Why would you want to, you want to have a cushion, a little bit more in case you live a few years longer or whatever. We can work all that out. But why would you want to have such a huge cushion that you are guaranteed to leave this earth with a lot of money in your account? Well, some people say leave it to the kids and, leave it to charity or something. All right, that's very noble. But we have to plan for that because it hurts you while you're living. So let's just do this real quick. Let me tell you a little bit about them so you know who we're working with. Louis and Edna changed their names, of course. They're both 41. They happen to have birthdays that are 6 days apart in real life. Current expenses, $4,800. They're filing jointly. Their savings, at the moment, they're just saving to the Roth IRA per my instructions. And actually, I have since changed them to the traditional IRA. Because they're just on the cusp of that, still making sense for them. So that's it for savings anyways, $6,000. Duke makes $115, Edna makes $85. We're currently just saying, don't worry about Social Security. Let us determine the best way for them to take it. They're going to retire at 63, and they're pretty solid on that, by the way. I don't know if it's coincidence, but they both happen to really be good at and enjoy what they do. And so this is not the actual piano player, Duke Ellington. The actual clients this represents, honestly, they could just probably work the rest of their lives. They'd be happy. Retirement expenses, they figured $3,500 because they wanted to itemize some things like their health care and vacations that they're going to take in the first 10 years and downsizing to a condo on the beach, one of their dreams, a little bit south of where we're at here. So it's not very expensive to have a condo on the beach. So their net worth at the moment, 7 million. Their cash is a tiny bit more than this in real life, but they've got 44,000. They've got a handful of accounts. You may have seen me show these before. These are very accurate to this particular family. And so they've got a rollover IRA, some rollovers, traditional Roth, and then they've got their savings, a regular brokerage account. They have a mortgage of $166 from a house that they have purchased 10 years ago now, going on 13 years. Balance of 166. Look at that monthly payment, huh? Crazy. I don't know why it's showing nine. Oh, it should be 990. Not, sorry, that's off. Let's go like this. Yeah, there you go. So it's still funny to see a payment like that, right? 166 is the balance there, and we're gonna say we're not paying it off early because we're gonna trigger a sale later. Primary home, that home exactly that we're talking about is now worth 655, and so that's all they have really. They're pretty straightforward. Look at this scenario, and I want to talk about their taxes. I'm gonna show you something. 100% success rate. No matter what we do, we can't ruin them. They don't need to save another dollar. They've saved way too much. And if I look at their confidence level, in other words, how their money will be spent and also grow throughout the rest of their life, there's not even an outlier chance down here that they will outlive their money. All right. Now let's take a look and see what happened here. So if I look at their cash flows, watch what happens. This is income, right? Expenses, goals, which will kick in once or twice for their vacations there. Tax payments, the $6,000 that they're going to save, that's fixed. We haven't raised that. And so money going out, and then they've of course got tons of money left over, but we're not pretending that they save that. So they're bringing in $200,000, for example. They have expenses of $79,000. They're killing it. They got their taxes and savings. They got $130 going out. They had $200,000 coming in. They got $130 going out. It means at the end of the year, there's $70,000 just floating around there somewhere, which they hold on to, but we're not going to model that. So it's a little bonus. And so they wash out the end of the year, not negative. Okay, so they could afford to save a whole lot more. They've backed off on account of my suggestions. All right. Okay. And so now what happens is when we get to retirement, remember they're going to retire at 63, and then from then on out, they're retired. We've got Social Security kicking in at 65. That's year 2047. Let's remember that. And so now we've got inflows of 101, but our expenses are 160. See the difference there? We've got what will be the vacation goals, the 24,000 adjusted for inflation. We've got taxes, and then we have 207 going out. So they're short by 105,000. And this is where you start to look at this. So they are short for the rest of their lives. So remember that scenario I just gave you a minute ago, where it's either that the RMD causes them to have a surplus at the end of the year, or it's that they have so much money saved up that that money can't possibly be drawn down without increasing their expenses. All right, so let's look at their taxes here real quick, because this is the interesting part. RMDs for them are going to kick in at 75. That's this planned distribution. If I go up here, this is from the IRA, Duke's RMD from his traditional IRA, Edna's, and then the total. And that starts at 75 because of the latest tax law changes there. Of course, they'll be phased into 75 from the Secure Act 2.0. And so let's look at 2056 and 7. All right, so let's go over to the tax section. And let's just see details, and let's try 2056. All right, so if you're familiar with tax form, take a look at what we got here. As far as income goes, we now know we are collecting Social Security. Social Security will be taxed. Of course, they have high total income, so they're going to be paying close to that 65% in total tax on their Social Security. A little capital gains in there from their taxable account. That's an estimate, of course. And so we've got our standard deduction in there. Taxable income by the time it's all said and done, $61,373. That means they're going to owe a whopping $2,448. Okay, well, it doesn't seem so bad for saving so much for retirement, right? Let's just start going a year after that. So if we start going a year after 2057 and beyond, all right, we got the same junk in here. Social Security now for the both of them, 141. Look at the taxable amount of their Social Security. All of a sudden, they are paying all the way to the tip top as much as you can be taxed on in your Social Security there, because what? What happened? We've got dollars coming out. We've got more money that needs to come out than we actually need to have there, right? Holy cow. So nonetheless, we get our standard deduction, of course, sampled for what we expect it to be. Total taxable income, $137.57. Now their taxes are going up to $13,000. I'm not actually arguing with that, given the amount of money that they have. I'm just saying that's a problem, okay? All in all, to pay that much in tax, I mean, people say, like, should I do conversions? Should I go? I don't know. Like, I honestly, probably not. We'll have to take a look, but that's not bad. So let me go back one more thing here. Go back to the cash flows real quick. We'll be able to see the jump. I won't go through one by one for you to do this here. So, can't see. So watch the tax payments. Do we want to, no, we don't want to do any conversions in here. That doesn't make sense. So we get into 65, these first few years of retirement. All right, maybe we look at some conversions there if we have to slow down or reduce this RMD. But why do we have this big RMD? Look at the tax. That's what we just looked at, the 2448 and the 137. It only gets worse from there, right? We have them both dying at the same time, which is not likely. So we're not even getting into that filing single widow tax that would be in there. So that's not even including this. But look at that. The taxes go crazy because the RMD gets worse and worse and worse. And the RMD, by the way, starts at 75. So you have everybody from the Secure Act saying, oh, the RMD, that's great. Yeah, delay it a few more years, man. Let people not have to take it out. Did your lifespan expand a couple years? Remember, the RMD says you're focusing on a lifespan table. You can look it up on the IRS website, or pretty much any RMD website. Well, all of a sudden we said RMDs were at 72 and then maybe your lifespan's 83 or something, 85, I don't know. All of a sudden we said 75, we have a smaller RMD window. What does that mean? That means more money has to come out of your account. So if you're saving too much for retirement, you're really making my job harder. Excuse me. You're making my job harder because we have to solve for conversions, the tax on your Social Security, extra Medicare payment, right? You're going to have this higher income in there. Good luck. Obamacare is probably not happening for you there. They would need that, but you have all these extra troubles, and we didn't even get to the fact that they will die with money in the bank. I think over $1 million by the time it's all said and done, because they're only 40-something years old. So let's see if I can go with you. This is not planned here, but let's go to, right here. Ending balance by account. Let's get on down here. This is in future dollars, so you could back this out, right? This is really, $1 million maybe. Maybe 1 point. Wow, you know where we could look? Let's go back over here. Okay, it's 1.8, so I was close. So they're going to die with roughly this much money in their pocket. Whose pocket? You're dead, right? So all that money of what you could have done through the rest of your life or before you retired, what could we have done? Could we have grown something else? Could we have started any sort of family legacy type account that maybe isn't retirement based? Could we include more to our brokerage account? So, because the current step up in basis law is there, so family can take over on your passing there. This is where it gets really tough. So what do we do about it? Just save what you need to for retirement and then stop it. Just stop it. Go 5% higher if it makes you feel better, but only save what you need to. I'm the only guy, I don't know why there's not more videos about this. All these advisors that are out there, why are they not saying this to you? Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because if you were going to come, oh, look at Jazz Savings. Oh, we got a new client here at Jazz. Are they going to put some money in? Okay, cool. How do we get them to put more money in so we could charge them more? That's the answer. Advisors make more money. Most independent advisors and standard like non-financial planner type people, the more money your account gets or grows to, more money the advisor makes. You'd start noticing they're wearing the fancy shirts all of a sudden, right? We got a Range Rover? What's somebody doing with the Range Rover? That's sad, but true, right? So, but in reality, they're doing you a disservice, not because they want to make more, because sure, if they can grow your account, that's what we always joke about here. As your account grows, we grow. If your account's not growing, we're not eating either, right? So that I really love that instead of just saying, pay me $1,000 a year or whatever it is. There's no incentive. So there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting your account to grow, but there gets to be a point where the tax advantage becomes a disadvantage. Right? A 401k, a traditional IRA, and previous to this year, a Roth 401k were all tax disadvantaged if you saved too much because of the RMDs. And I guess I shouldn't say that about the Roth 401k. So going forward, you don't have to take Roth RMDs anyways, but you end up with a disadvantage by having too much. So I beg you, and for two reasons actually, I beg you to only save what you need for retirement. The first reason is because of what I just showed you, the disadvantages and the trickery that needs to be played, which keep in mind is a pure guess because we're going based on the tax laws as we know them to progress. Guys in Washington could come up with anything, right? So it's a pure guess. We don't want to get down the road and be stuck. The second reason is this is the year, I think most people would agree, money's getting tighter. There's not money falling from helicopters and everything. Your dollars are going to become more important to you. If you're sort of being inefficient about saving dollars into a IRA, and then the economy tightens up and you go, ooh, I could use those dollars. No. Penalty, tax, right? You're in trouble. So why volunteer to put extra money away when it all of a sudden loses liquidity? You can't take it out. You're not free to just grab from it as you want to. It's horrible, right? So think about it. Save only what you need for retirement. Go a little bit higher, but there are downsides to saving too much for retirement. And I just scratched the surface, right? Because I don't know how long you guys want to stick around. I just scratched the surface. We're going to expand on this as we go. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. And thanks for hanging out with me here. We'll see you next time on Jazz After Dark. Adios.